Hi, this is Wanda from Lil Rose Artworks, and today we're going fishing. We are going to do a trout resin sculpture today. So, follow along with me. All materials needed are in the description box, and if you just want to watch, grab your coffee and come on down with me to the basement. Hi, this is Wanda from Lil Rose Artworks, and we are going to work on another fish sculpture. This time it's going to be a trout. So, if you cannot draw, get your image from the internet, trace it over. You can do that very easily. Darken it up. Get either some nice plastic that's going to accept your hot glue and your resin. It's got to accept it and release it. Or I like to use just a silicone mat, and you can see that image right through the mat. Then you're going to take your hot glue gun and you're just going to trace around your image, creating a well in order to put your resin. You're going to make it 2 layers high, deep enough to hold your resin. I want to do a jumping fish. I want him to be jumping up out of here with this, the base. And I hope I don't screw it up because I love this piece of wood. I want this to be like a big splash coming up out of here. I have a hot glue gun. And what I think I'm going to do is on this piece, I'm going to do an outline so I can run resin down and have it hold, so I can make some splashes going down. I don't know, maybe some of these baggies I might mold the splashes going over, and I want some to come up. No idea, all experimental. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have it hold, but we'll give it a shot. I am not doing straight lines, I'm kind of going all over the place. I'm going to make some waves with the baggie technique. I'm going to torch the baggies, and then we'll fill them with resin. I'm going to use some of these larger bags as well because I think I want the waves to come up really big, and I think that I want my fish to be somehow suspended by the waves. I don't know if I'm going to use wire or what. Like I said, experimenting is fun. If you have not seen this technique before, you take baggies and then you kind of torch them to give them a little bit of shape. Mix your resin and then your colors into your resin. Then you're going to pour the resin into the baggies. Some of it's partitioned depending on how you did your torching. And I like to add a little bit of white for the foam, and I'm pushing it down through the bag portions. And then I'm pouring in the blue, again pushing that in. The bags will sit with the resin in them overnight, and they'll come out with some pretty cool different patterns, forms, and they make the waves. So we will be removing them while they're still flexible so that I can manipulate them. This is our wooden base, and as you see where I have the hot glue around there, trying to make a little form for a wave, I'm pouring my resin around there, trying to make it look like the wave is oversplashing. Now we're moving back onto our main portion, our fish. I am filling our mold that we made with the resin on the silicone mat still so it releases easily. our waves have set overnight and now they're being removed from the baggies. They should be flexible and easily formed for our next step. Alright, so I'm going to want this to be jumping out of here or splashing out of here with a little curve to it, which is going to mean I'm going to need something behind it to hold it up, bend it down, use some tape to make that happen. Now we start experimenting with our waves, fitting them in, getting them into position that we like on our base and with the look that we want. Here I'm using a second piece to cover up a little gap back there that I didn't care for. I am using super glue for my first adhesion point. I will be reinforcing that later with resin. I'm also using cling wrap to separate my waves or my splashes because they are still flexible and moldable. I don't want them falling on each other and sticking, so I'm using cling wrap. When you want to bend or to hold things in place, painting tape or painter's tape really helps a lot. My fish is complete. I'm pulling it off the silicone. As you can tell, I did not like the size as compared to the wave, so I did a new one. It wasn't proportionate. It's still flexible and turned out really well. All that's needed to complete this fish is an eye. I'm using a glass globule for the eye and I'll be painting around it. So our waves, our splash. And we'll pull this out, get this cling wrap out that was used to separate. Splash looks pretty good. And then we're going to figure out how we're going to attach to this splash. So I'm going to play with that for a minute and we'll figure it out. For this fish is just like that. And what that gives us is contact points as well. I might try to twist it a little bit and have them come out. I'm not absolutely sure. But that is actually going to be our placement. So it looks like our fish is jumping out and causing a splash. So what we're going to do is we'll use our super glue and then we will use resin to reinforce. And I know I'm going to paint this bit here white. And I do need to put this into a resin mold to hold it. The reason that I feel like I need to do that is it's a little tippy and I want to make sure it stays in one spot. So I will be creating a mold as I normally do. I'll be using a silicone mat and then just putting a hot glue barrier around it. Probably actually very tight to, well, pretty close to this piece of wood. So I'm going to get my super glue and make my attachments. I hot glued a base down on my silicone mat so I did an outline and then I poured in my resin. Then what I did was I came back and painted around the base and I also painted around that original hot glue. In order to secure the piece, I now take resin and go over the initial super glue bonds with the resin, drizzling it in at all the touch points. I also painted the back of the fish with resin to give it a more shiny finish as it was matte, due to the silicone mat that it laid on. I'm really happy with the way the piece turned out. The waves gave it a really dynamic look. I had a lot of fun doing this piece. I hope you had a lot of fun following along with me. And this piece is just about done. So our next shot will be the finished product. Thanks for joining along, and as usual, please subscribe, like, and hit that bell for notifications. See you next week.